story of curses, death, fire, and a disgruntled witch. And it's called the Seven Gables Road. Have you ever heard of that one?
Mm-mm.
It's a cast off from East Dexter Trail in Densville, Michigan.
I've never heard of Densville, Michigan.
Okay. It says that the legend of it is a witch lived in an old home at the end of the Seven Gables Road, and there's an old rusted gate that she cursed. And so anyone that would go over it, it would she has an incantation on it that to where if they jumped the fence, the curse is sealed by a distant scream. And it let's see what else it said. It said that she also fell victim to her own curse when she jumped it to uh save, there was a crying, I guess, baby or child, and she went to go, see it, and she decided, I guess, jump the gate. And then after she died 2 months later, so it could have been anything, you know,
Right.
that I guess what they say, a quarter of a century, yeah, quarter of a century later, this family moves into her old house. And I guess sometime later, the husband went insane, killed his family, burnt the house down, then killed himself. And then, but I guess
Wow.
the gate is still standing there. It's all woods. There's a path that leads through it. And if follow it and everything, you can still see some of the remnants of the foundation of the house.
Oh.
It's back there. Yeah, and it's all overgrown, but it's like little cinder blocks or whatever it's made of, cement or something. You can see it just barely visible above the dirt. So it's to where, the thing though, I guess with that road, even though, they say that part is a legend, that I guess there are people that go there come back with unexplained stories. So no one knows if but I guess there's also been a lot of true tales of murder and sadness there in those woods. So where that goes, there's the spirits, especially with murdered people, the victims or whatever's going
Yeah.
on. So I found that really interesting.
It sounds like a
That
road trip.
in yeah, southeast of Lansing, so it's not
Uh,
that far.
no.
But it's cool though because it shows pictures because I was on a lot of the sites, Pure Michigan and different ones when I was just going through seeing what stories there are out there that deal with spirits or anything. And then I came across that one. Never heard of it before, but it sort of, piqued my interest when it talked about, a disgruntled witch and curses and all that. So, but then there was another one called have you ever heard of it? It's in Clare, Michigan, called the Doherty Hotel.
Vaguely, yes. I haven't
Okay,
heard too much on it, but I have heard the name before.
okay, because I guess that one's haunted. There's even Pure Michigan went and did its own research, and they claim that you could hear voices and everything else. Because I guess it originally opened in 1920, and it has a colorful past because it was during the Prohibition they turned it into a speakeasy,
Okay.
and the back it had gambling rooms and it had in the farther back adult entertainment. So it was, and then it turned in 1938. Um, I guess the hotel was the site of, what does it say? One of the Michigan's most notorious murders there. It's his name was Isaiah Leibov. He was a former attorney, then turned Purple Gang businessman. And you've heard of the Purple Gang from Detroit, from
Mm.
I wrote down their active years was 1910 to 1932. They were a criminal mob of bootleggers and hijackers composed predominantly of Jewish gangsters. They operated in Detroit during the Prohibition. They even had business dealings with Al Capone.
Oh wow.
And yeah, they also, the Purple Gang was on the radar with the FBI because they were suspected that they were involved with the Lindbergh baby kidnapping.
Oh.
Yeah. So, because they were in Detroit, and then that Isaiah was shot in. Well, he was killed in the bar by his cousin and business partner. So they say, over the years, people have gone and did the research and everything, and they believe that Isaiah remains there along with the family matriarch, Helen Grandma Doherty, since she goes by Grandma, and
Yeah.
they have a recording of her, or like of a woman's voice, in the back room, and I guess that's where her body was put after she passed away. And so the voice, they say, is soft and feeble. It's almost sounding as if she's, old or very sick. And this voice will answer your questions. So, they believe that it's her. So, but it was just, those are two that really struck out, and it was really
You said that
interesting
was
about,
in Clare, Michigan?
yeah, the Doherty
That's up
Hotel.
by Harrison and Mount Pleasant. That's between Harrison
So,
and Mount Pleasant.
yeah. Yeah, because I've gone through Clare a couple times, because that's where Paul's father's buried, is there.
Oh, okay.
So, but I didn't know, the Purple Gang is also known as the Sugar House Gang back then.
Oh.
But I was reading about that, and I was like, okay. They disbanded, well, they basically in-house fighting and everything ended up, a lot of the head people went away for murder, and then all the other stuff was going on. So
So what is the place called?
the
That's in
Doherty
Clare?
Hotel. Yeah, the Doherty Hotel, Doherty.
That sounds like a road trip too.
But yeah, there's been accounts of, the disembodied voices and, actual intelligent ghosts that will respond to your questions.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. The one I found when I was also looking on Mackinac Island, the Grand Hotel,
Uh-huh.
there's so much, I guess, paranormal activity on that island, but the Grand Hotel will not let any paranormal investigators in there.
Oh wow.
No one's allowed to do any investigations, which sort of makes you wonder why. But of course, they're known for their prestigious stuff and probably don't want any
I found a
bad
picture of
press.
that hotel. Check this out. That's the actual
Okay.
hotel.
So yeah, because that was built in the 1920s.
Well, you could tell it's old. It's an old building.
Right. But yeah, I guess they let, investigators in and everything else. Because I think they said, I'm not 100% sure, but when I was reading about it, that the Dohertys still own that hotel, the family of it.
Okay. I could see it as a speakeasy.
Well, yeah, speakeasy, during the Prohibition
Uh-huh.
and the gambling and adult entertainment.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it because Claire is so small,
Yeah.
you wouldn't, think of much of that. So, but those were just the two that really, caught my eye, and I thought it was interesting.
Have to make a trip to Claire and stay in that hotel, see if I can experience anything.
Well, yeah, because it's supposed to be, the bar is where Isaiah was killed, and
Uh
then
huh.
that one back room is where Helen was. After she passed away, her body was laid there.
Okay.
So those are the two prominent ones that people have talked about. So, I'm sure there's more, but
Um. Again, road trip. I had it'd be something. So
it would be.
just to
I've always wanted to do, you know, get a group, not a big group, a few people and just do the paranormal, thing.
yeah.
Investigations. I couldn't think of the word right then. But yeah, just go around in the, because there's, the lighthouse, some lighthouses are supposed to be, just go around and see what, you can find
Yeah.
and not have it staged like a lot of production
TV
shows
shows.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many of them. I just sit there and start laughing because you can tell that they're staged,
Yeah.
but it's entertainment value. So,
Yeah. That's why I don't watch those shows because you could tell it's fake.
oh yeah. And the only thing, there's some, I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to get in trouble, that always blame witchcraft. Anything that goes wrong or is demonic is
Right.
witchcraft, and it's demons.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, that's all, everything that, there's demons, it's dealt with witchcraft. It's dark magic. It's like he's lumping all of witchcraft into it, and that irks irks me. It's like you can't do that. But I guess, you get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can say what you want.
Right.
That's why I always joke with my son saying we need to form our own show and then see if we can, get on TV. At least it'd be
Yeah.
real.
Right.
So,
So personal story time.
yeah, you get to do that one. Start off
Okay.
that one.
All right. So I don't know how old I was, but I was real little, and um, we lived in this old house. Our landlord actually lived upstairs, and he was a drunk. Um, but one night, apparently, I woke up screaming, and apparently, I saw someone. It was a woman, and I remember vaguely seeing this woman. And apparently, there was another instance where somebody had told my dad to go to bed because he fell asleep on the couch, and it was a woman, and he thought it was my mom. It wasn't my mom. Nope.
Right.
We still don't know who this person was. And there was a woman. One day, I guess my mom saw a woman standing behind one of my sisters, and we were all very little, and it creeped her out. So there was something in that house. It's no longer standing. They tore it down years and years ago, but
Right.
there was there was some
But at
woman
least,
in that
but at
house.
least it wasn't malevolent.
No, no, she was just like, Chuck, go to bed. Told my dad to go to bed, and he thought it was my mom, but no, it wasn't my mom.
Right. That's cool.
And another instance was I was a teenager, and one night I woke up to somebody whispering my name. And there was this figure next to my bed, and he had a dark cloak on, hooded. His face was brown. It looks like his face was burnt because it was all wrinkled and squinched up, and um,
Right.
he had dark eyes, really dark eyes, and it scared the shit out of me. Um, at first, I couldn't move because you're paralyzed with fear, and at first I couldn't move, and then um, like my mom heard me screaming, and I by the time she got to the bottom of the stairs, I had already jumped out of bed, leaped over this thing, ran down the stairs, and by the time I got down to the stairs, she was just getting there at the bottom of the stairs. She's like, "What is wrong? There is something up there." She's like, "No,
Oh yeah, parents are so quick to dismiss stuff.
yeah." But I could swear I saw it, so she thought I was dreaming, and I'm like, "No, that was not a
Oh no.
dream."
Right.
So that's my two encounters with the paranormal.
Yeah, I got a lot. But we don't have hours. So the couple that really have stood out for me, I know one because this is when my son was still living at home. But I know, he worked midnight, so
Hmm.
it was. But I woke up, just waking up, and I turned, and right at my doorway, there was this male figure there. It's about the same height as my son, same long hair, but the style of clothes was a lot older. And I just, I looked, I was laying there looking at him, and I'm like, didn't process that it wasn't Jason. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he wouldn't say anything. He just kept staring at me
Hmm.
and then turned around and walked away. And I'm like, and I just kept laying there. I'm like, why did he change his clothes? And where did he get those clothes? Because I was like still in that foggy waking up. What did
Yeah.
and then I sat up and I was like, just still processing in my head as I walked by. Jason walks in the door from work. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, so I told him about it because he had the long hair and a little bit of the beard, but he looked, oh, I don't know what you would say it would be, the period of clothing, because it wasn't within the past 100 years.
Hmm.
It was like, but it was just that one time that I saw him, and I swear it was like Jason, but it wasn't. Never, saw that one again. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's the first time in my, that I saw someone that solid that that was a spirit. Because usually, like, I can see him out, it's like a lot of people see him out the corner of your eye. I see a lot of the dark figures, or the creatures or stuff like that. And it's just, okay, whatever. I'm so used to it. I just sort of, it doesn't phase me.
Right.
But then there's this one time I was getting ready for bed and I was laying down and I went to, because usually I sleep like on my stomach sometimes. Like I'll start off, and get comfortable that way. And you okay? You should
Yeah, I'm
drink some
okay.
water.
Yeah.
And, I was like lifting my head up, like how you do that. And then I had this, or something just pushed my face right down the pillow and just held it there. And I couldn't move my head, couldn't pull it back up. And then all of a sudden it just let go. And you know me, I sat there and that pissed me off. So instead of freaking out, I'm like, at first I thought someone was playing a prank on me.
Right.
And I was like, then I looked around. There wasn't anybody there. So I'm like, and so just right out loud, I'm like, enough of the crap, stop it. And then because I've had marks on my back, because I've had, the kids have taken pictures of it so I could see, and it's the three like y- you could tell because it was not like like a cat scratch type thing, but it was
Hmm.
farther apart, going like cross down my
So it was
back,
more
or there's
like
been like,
it was like a bigger animal for claws.
yeah, and it was just the three. And there was part here, then there was one there and stuff, and it hurt because I was like, why is my back hurting? So it's, and then one time, I don't know if what it was, I have no recollection. One time, Paul told me middle of the night, because he got woken up by it. I sat there and I sat up in bed, walked to the kitchen, moved pots and pans around in the stove, stood there for a minute, turned around, walked back, and he said my eyes weren't my eyes. Got back into bed, went to sleep.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like, that's interesting. What do I do? Is like, what do I do when I'm sleeping? It's like I've been half tempted to record what goes on,
you're right.
but at the same time, I'm like, do I really want to know? It's like if stuff's happening to me while I'm sleeping and I have no recollection of it, I may not want to know, of what I'm going to pick up because a camera most times will pick up things that the human eyes cannot see.
Right.
And so it's like, would you want to know if that was different things were happening to you in your sleep?
I would be a little embarrassed just to watch it afterwards.
Yeah, but it's just you watching it. So,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like if things happening to you and the camera catches stuff, then it's like I know how to deal with things, but at the same time, it would really creep me out knowing things are going on while I sleep.
Right. So no, I probably wouldn't want to know. I'm good.
Yeah, I've been tempted over the years, and I still haven't. But it's like you know, maybe one day I'll get brave enough and
Yeah.
record it for at least a week to see if there's anything. If not, especially this time of year when the veil's thin. Yeah,
We'll see what you could try it. See what happens. Literally.
yeah, catch something. I'll be like, Jay, check this out. You're like, yeah, I'm never coming over to your house. So those are the most predominant ones that are of out of the ordinary for me.
Mhm.
There was one that I had, but I know it was a dream, but still to this day, I can still have the same dream, nightmare, whatever you call it, since I was a little girl. It was like an apocalyptic, I can never say that word right. Whatever.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I always, that one I can't, but it was like deserted ghost town area. And I was a little girl. I was running. It was like running for my life from something. And because everything was abandoned, and I go into this one department store, and there's like clothes racks and stuff. So I'm hiding in there, and something goes by and then starts walking around in the store. And I'm sitting there, just hiding in the clothes, not making a sound. And I could hear it walking around. And then it goes quiet for a while. So I'm like, okay. And then when I get out, I'm facing a mirror, and this black, like cloaked figure all of a sudden appears behind me. And then the hand that comes out is like a skeleton hand, and it goes to touch my shoulder, and it's to where, and then I wake right up. As soon as like his hand's there, it's like right like on my back, just goes to touch me. And I wake, I wake up. I've had that dream, I think, since I was 5. And I still vividly remember everything, the smell, the textures, and I can still, once in a blue moon, I still have that dream. And
Oh wow.
it's, yeah, I don't know if
I don't
that's
have
why
reoccurring dreams, but that's weird.
it is. It's to where I don't know if that's why I can, if it's death, is where that's why I can commune with spirits the way I do.
Hmm.
If I can have certain gifts with me that have shown up over the years and stuff.
I'm
So
glad
I,
you have that gift
that,
and I don't. You can deal with all
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, trust me, I do. But it's, it's with all the different gifts that, you guys have seen and everything else. But that one, I've never fully understood why I have that one. I don't know if that's why, like with my yard, it's the circle of life. Animals will come there to pass away, and I bury them because they'll, come up to me in within hours to, like that one kitten that was abandoned by its mother under the shed that took care of for that week,
Uh-huh.
and then it sadly passed away. So it's to where, and it was, and then I have, animals that, have their babies there, or they'll bring their babies there and everything. So it's like it's a circle of life in my yard with me.
Hmm.
So who knows? Maybe it was that just attached to me, and I've been able to do things since.
That's a hell of a gift. I'll give you that.
It's a blessing and a curse.
It sounds like it.
Yeah, because it's especially when, you know, I've had the animals passing is one thing. It always takes a little piece of me. But when in it's like a dream, but it feels real, like I don't know what it would be when I've helped people pass over. That one that one takes a lot out of you.
Hmm.
So that one was an interesting story that I woke up from. And then come to find out, I told you about that one, right?
No.
Oh, the one with Paul's aunt?
Uh-uh.
No.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Because I knew she was in the hospital and she had a lot of issues from a nursing home and stuff. And so I was tired one day and I was taking a nap and I lay down on the couch. Next thing I know, I'm in the hospital room with her, and her daughter's there and some other people, and I'm looking at her and she just has tears in her eyes and she's looking at me. So I go over there and I sit on her bed, and she goes, "I'm not ready yet." So then it's to where, because I know she was scared.
Hmm.
So her, and then like her daughter and Paul's one brother was there and stuff, and these doctors, and it's to where I just looked at them and they were like trying to like say, she needs to pass on or something. It was like all this stuff going on. These white wings come out of my back and just push. It's like this wind. Just they opened up and pushed everyone against the wall and kept them there. And the room was all of a sudden silent. And I just looked at her and I remember brushing her face like that, saying, "It's okay. You you're ready." And then she got a smile on her face and she just peacefully passed away. It's like it
And this
was
was a
just this
dream?
calmness. Huh?
And this was a
This is
dream?
like, yeah, because I fell asleep, yeah. And then it's to where this was all going on.
Mm.
And then after that, and I knew that her soul had, or whatever you want to call it, had passed on to where it was supposed to go because it was warm and it was like this real, just beautiful feeling. And then my wings went back my back, and I said, okay. I woke right up from that, and I'm like, what did I just dream? Because I'm trying to make sense of everything. Paul comes over, and within 10 minutes of me waking up is when he told me his aunt had just passed away.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Within the time I was sleeping is when she passed. I was like, okay. And then he described what went on after he found out in the hospital room,
Mm-hmm.
in which I wouldn't have known because I told him what I dreamt. I said, I don't know if you want to hear this. I said, but this is what I just dreamt because it was bothering me because it was something I've never done before. And as I was telling parts of it, that's when he's like, well, her daughter was there, her nephew was there. So there were certain doctors. It was like everything was making sense. So it was just, you know, I've had love, people that have passed on, have come visited me and while I'm awake, while I'm asleep and stuff. I don't know if because I work with animals with passing and everything else is if with certain people, like I'm called to that astral project
Mm-hmm.
part of me to help them pass peacefully. I I don't know. That when it was certain things, it's never happened since. That's the one and only time. So I don't know what what was going on or why I had that. But yeah, that's why I said it's a blessing and a curse with some of the gifts that I have.
I have no words for that.
That's why our one friend calls me an enigma.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one I haven't shared with a lot of people, but I figured, why not? It's the time of year and
It
it's
is kind of
it's
creepy in a way. It's that it has that Halloween feel to it. It definitely does.
oh yeah, but yeah, that one never before and never after. I don't know what it was, but yeah, that one was, I don't want that one, but if it, if I'm, if I was meant to just help her during that time, because I'm not going to say some of the details that were going on because it's private, but if she needed to be guarded and protected during that time, and if I was, called for that part, I'll do that.
Right.
I'll, you know, if I'm so chosen for that, then I'll do it. But it's not something I will willingly do. But it was just interesting with having, especially white wings that
Yeah.
opened up
That
and just silenced the room. I mean, these wings were huge. And it was definitely interesting. What's going on?
that sounds. Oh, I got a hunch on something, and I'm googling it real quick. See if it's just a hunch.
Just a hunch. Okay.
I don't know if it's actually a thing, but I'd have to do some more research into it. But I could tell you after the live stream.
Right.
So
So yeah, I'd be at least something because that's the only time. So yeah, it's being me is fun.
Sounds like it.
Some things I love doing, other things it's like why? Especially when you touch people and you can see their hidden secrets and see who they truly are. And
Yeah.
that's why I don't like touching, even hugging people unless I know that guard is up, that wall.
Right.
Oh, he's a giddy. I'm getting to be a
Yeah.
big giddy.
He is. And then he's fussy on what he eats. Try to find some food for him that he'll actually eat, and that's not easy because he's become real fussy.
Right. So,
Well,
but that's all
that's all.
I've got for my stories.
Me too.
So,
All right. All right, everybody. You
and
guys. You were gonna say something.
oh, it's just that, and next week, I was just gonna let everybody know, and next week we're gonna be talking about the the Halloween celebrations, discussing, different celebrations of how we would do things if we had the means and unlimited means. That'd be fun. And
Yes.
just, so okay.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye.